welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna and I make videos about personal finance, beginners investing and getting out of debt. If you're interested in generally bossing life, then go check out my other content and subscribe if you're interested. So in today's video, I want to talk about the habits that keep you poor. So throughout my life, I found myself doing many of these things and then wondering why I never had money, why I was always in debt, and basically like never seeing the end of trying to scramble around out of like the financial hole of doom. But the more I educated myself and the more I became aware of money and how to work it and how to use it and the things that I could do, the more I started becoming good with my money, coming out of the debt and having some sort of plan and an end goal. So I'm going to share all these things with you, and hopefully, you know, if you find yourself doing one or some or all of these things, it will help you make better decisions and really get on top of your finances. So let me know in the comments below if you do any of these things and if you've stopped doing them, whether you've seen a benefit from it. So the first habit that is keeping you poor is time wasting. Time is money. Honestly, I cannot stress this enough. People ask me constantly how I manage to do so many side hustles and so many side projects and all these things. And, you know, we have the same amount of time in a day. I have the same amount of time in a day as my friends. I have the same amount of time in a day as my colleagues. I have the same amount of time in a day as the big CEOs of freaking Microsoft and Google. So how is it that some people seem to have time to do everything and some people don't? Well, one of the factors could be time wasting and procrastination. I saw in a bit of research online that 77% of people who you could class as poor watch more than 1 hour a day of TV, and the majority of them watch reality TV. This has absolutely zero benefit to your life. On the flip side, 67% of really wealthy people watch less than an hour of TV a day, and the majority of them don't watch reality TV. I think it was something like 6% only watch reality TV. Essentially, by doing stuff like that, you are adding absolutely zero value to your time, whereas you could be utilizing that time to read books, to better yourself, to network, to work on your side hustles, to build your business, to build multiple streams of income. There's a crazy stat of something like 65% of rich people have created more than 3 streams of income. Whereas the majority of people these days, even the majority of people I know, still only rely on that one 9-to-5 income. And if that's all you're going to rely on, you will essentially be stuck in the cycle forever. The second habit that is keeping you poor is bad spending habits and not budgeting. So I've gone on about the importance of budgeting in a lot of my videos, but honestly, it is life-changing. The majority of people who are constantly in debt and constantly trying to claw their way out of being poor don't know where their money goes. They don't track every penny that goes in and out of their bank accounts. This is really bad because it can lead you to spending more money that you can't actually afford to spend. So as an example, a lot of banks, you know, when you check your balance, there's a delay. You know, there's a reason you have things like pending transactions coming up. What I spend today might not actually come off my balance until like 3-4 days later. So if I spend a lot and then I forget about certain transactions, I might look at my bank balance and think, oh great, I've got like another 200 quid, and then go and buy something for that £200. And then everything else comes off my account and suddenly I've got minus 200 in my account. So it's so important to firstly keep track of everything you're spending, but also to budget, because having a plan of how much money you're getting and where you're going to spend it and foreseeing things in the future. So this is where I've talked about my own budget spreadsheet that I've linked down below. You know, I actually budget 3 years in advance. And I know some people found that quite shocking, but you know, I'm an accountant and I'm a bit OCD with stuff like this, but I love it. I really enjoy it. But even budgeting, you know, 12 months in advance, if you do that, you will be in so much of a better position than you can ever think of. Yeah, I can't stress enough the importance of tracking what you're spending and keeping a budget. Following on from that, the third habit that is keeping you poor is bad saving habits. Building wealth takes time, okay? Not many millionaires became millionaires overnight. It takes a long time to build that wealth. And the way that the wealthy people keep getting wealthier is because they invest their money and let it compound over time. So the interest that they are getting from those investments, they are then reinvesting, and therefore that's compounding and growing their income, because their amount of shares will grow and therefore their amount of dividends will grow, and it all just accumulates. The good thing about the current situation in the world is that it has helped more people realize the importance of savings. But actually, the current situation means that savings accounts are almost not worth it. Unless you are putting it into a high interest rate account, it's not worth it. Now, I would still keep an emergency budget in a savings account, and I do, but anything over and above that, you are essentially wasting your money by keeping it in a savings account. If you want it to grow, you need to be thinking about investing your money. The fourth habit that is keeping you poor is only focusing on the present.
I want this now. I'll sort that out later. Oh, I really fancy this holiday right now. Oh, but I really want the latest iPhone.
If your mindset is constantly only in the present and you are not considering your future self, then you will never have money in the future. You need to be thinking long term. Is this thing that I'm buying now worth this thing that I'm then sacrificing later on? You know, is this big purchase worth the returns that I could get if I invested it over the long term? And having that sort of mindset will help you so much in building that wealth. It doesn't mean not buying anything that you want right now, but being a little bit more forward looking than many people are. The fifth habit keeping you poor is lifestyle inflation. Again, something I've mentioned previously in some videos, but as you earn more, it becomes tempting to spend more money. Getting a nicer house, a nicer car, a nicer phone, you know, going on a holiday, things like that. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it basically means that you are forever going to be tied to earning that amount of money, because you are becoming accustomed and forever increasing your bills to match your salary. In reality, what you should be doing is anytime you get a raise or anything like that, is set up a direct debit to come out on the same day as your salary for that amount of, you know, post-tax difference in salary, so you don't even see it. If you have debt, take it as a direct debit straight into your credit cards or your loans or whatever it is that you want to pay off. And if you don't, then set it up as a savings or an investment account, you know, direct debits to your stocks and shares ISA or something like that. This will help you build wealth so much quicker, because you will still be living in a way that you're used to. You know, it's not like you are taking a hit and reducing your levels of spending or anything like that. It's just helping you sort of build up that savings and investments nest. And the longer you are accustomed to living in a certain way, the less you will need when you do become financially independent or retire or anything like that. It will mean that you don't have to chase that huge paycheck all the time. You know, you can say, actually, I'm accustomed on living on this much money, and now my investments are giving me this much money. So I can just choose what I want to do. I can be in a job that I love rather than being like so stressed all the time because I'm chasing those big paychecks. The sixth habit keeping you poor is your diet. This might seem like a weird one to throw in here, but bear with me. There is a book by Tom Corley, which I will link down below, which talks about the habits and how they change your life. And one of the things he talks about is diet. He looks at poor people and rich people and the different habits that they have. And he actually found that 97% of people that he classed as poor, according to his studies, actually ate more than 300 calories a day in junk food. He also found that over 66% of those people were overweight. Now, there is a reason that there is a saying that is health is wealth. It is so true for so many reasons. And I'm going to include alcohol in this as well, because alcohol impacts your health as well. He also found that 54% of poor people drank more than 2 glasses of alcohol a day, whereas 84% of the rich drank less than that a day. There are two ways that both of these things affect your wealth. Firstly, the obvious, money. Being unhealthy and not looking after yourself can lead to high health bills. I know that like in the UK we have the NHS, but sometimes not everything is covered on the NHS. Sometimes the times are really long waiting lists, and a lot of things, for example, like dental work, aren't covered by the NHS. So I'm a good example of this. I need a crown doing, and that's going to cost me £600 just for one. £600 because I don't want a metal tooth. So yeah, just it can make a huge impact in terms of money. And obviously alcohol is expensive, even if you are buying it from the supermarket. I'm not even going to get into going out, but it is something that affects your finances. But also it impacts your ability to think clearly, you know, your memory, your focus. If you're not healthy, you know, you might have mind fog, you might not be thinking clearly, you won't have that energy to work on your side hustles and your businesses and things like that. So actually looking after your health is one of the best things that you can do to help yourself be wealthy. The seventh habit keeping you poor is hanging out with toxic people. You are going to be hugely influenced by the type of people that you hang out with. If you are constantly hanging out with negative people who always moan and drain your energy and make you feel bad about yourself and shoot down your ideas, then your self-confidence is gonna completely shoot down. You're never gonna want to do things out of the box, and you will just feel drained all the time. The people that you surround yourself with will basically either motivate you or completely shut you down. They will either influence you to spend your money or invest and save your money. They'll either support your business ideas or laugh about them. For me, changing the type of people that I hang out with has made a huge impact. And I know that a lot of rich people and a lot of famously rich people talk about this as well. The eighth habit keeping you poor is buying cheap stuff instead of quality stuff. This is an interesting one because people might think that they're saving money by buying cheap things from, for example, Primark. And nothing against Primark, I love Primark, and you know, I will still happily go in there and like buy all my basic stuff like vests and things like that. But more often than not, buying something cheap means that it won't last very long and you'll have to keep replacing it. As an example, it's a well-known fact that if you buy a t-shirt for £5 that's gonna, you know, have holes in it soon or lose its color or anything like that, you're gonna have to keep rebuying it. Whereas if you had spent 20 or 30 pounds on a really good quality t-shirt, you'll probably have it for years and years and years. It's important to note here that I don't just mean buy things with a big price tag on it, because a big price tag does not necessarily mean quality. I have been burnt in the past by buying things from, I don't know, places like Topshop maybe. You know, I'm sure some of their stuff is good quality, but I've ended up purchasing something that cost me a lot of money, and within a few months it had holes in it. So a price tag does not necessarily mean quality. Do your research, learn about the company, see whether their clothes or other things are actually good quality. So clearly this doesn't just apply to clothes, it applies for cheap electronics or anything like that. Just bear it in mind, and over time you will save yourself loads of money. And the ninth and final habit that is keeping you poor is keeping up with the Joneses. You've probably heard of this term before, but essentially it's just buying stuff to impress people you don't like. A lot of people might feel like they need the latest gadget, they need the nicest handbag or the most expensive clothes or the nicest car to impress their neighbors or people at work, or you know, people that they barely know. And that constant cycle of buying the latest stuff and buying expensive stuff to show off is constantly keeping you poor. If you look at big millionaires and CEOs who are extremely successful, so many of them just wear plain t-shirts all the time, you know, black t-shirt and jeans. I think that's like Mark Zuckerberg's thing, isn't it? But actually not caring about that sort of stuff, and again, just buying quality, simple items that you can mix and match, can save you a lot of money. and make you happier. The second you stop caring about what other people think, the happier you'll become in yourself. That is it, guys. Hopefully that has been helpful and will help you realize some of the things that you might be doing that are keeping you in the cycle of not having enough money. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next video. Bye.